Hey there, my name is John Moore, and I'm a shamanic and spiritual teacher. And today I want to talk to you about Citrinitas. Citrinitas being the third phase in the four phases of alchemy. There are other systems in alchemy where there are 7 phases or more, but this is a simplified version, but still effective. And I'm going to be focusing on spiritual alchemy as I don't have a background in laboratory alchemy. However, the two are very related, and it's important to recognize that during, even today when there are practical alchemists out there doing work, there's no real separation between spirit and matter. In fact, we get the word spirits, as in the alcohol we drink, from alchemy, which is where we get the word alcohol from. Meaning they're taking the spirit of plant material or the spirit of matter. So matter and spirit are really inseparable. They're not separating them, taking the spirit out of matter, whatever. They're clearing away the stuff they don't want to get to the spirit of the matter in the great work, the magnum opus, to create the Philosopher's Stone. So Citrinitas is the third phase. We started with Nigredo. In Nigredo, we are breaking things down. We are burning, decomposing, all of those things so that they can be built back up again. And then we moved into the Albedo phase, which is the whitening or purification phase. That's where we clear out the impurities to get to the core matter. Now that we have the core matter, we want to elevate it, which again, we're doing with our spirit in spiritual alchemy. Again, there's no, there's difference in operation, but conceptually they're the same thing. And if you were to go to an alchemy lab, and they still exist, there are some that are like museums now in Europe, and I don't know of any other locations, but I know there are some like in Prague, for example. There would be a place, a center in the lab called a tabernacle, which is the same word from the temple in Jerusalem, a holy of holies, a place where the alchemist would go to purify his spirit before he did his work. Because the idea was if mind, body, spirit weren't aligned, the work would fail. Okay, so in this phase, after going through a dark night of the soul, a breakdown, a shadow work, all of these things, and then coming out into the light and then doing purification work. Now we've gotten closer to our purer essence, and now we want to elevate that essence. So Citrinitas is about elevating ourselves, getting closer to God, source, unity, truth, whatever word you want to use for heightened spirit. It is synonymous with enlightenment. For those who think enlightenment is the final phase in spiritual development, it is not necessarily so in alchemy terms. So it is a yellowing. It is associated with the sun. So there's, solar things. This is where gold or things of the color gold would be produced. And again, there's an idea that gold, yellow gold, is the ultimate phase of alchemy, which is not exactly true. It's actually white gold, which comes in the next phase, which I will talk about in a future video. So in this phase, we are elevating ourselves. And then if we were working in a laboratory, we would be elevating the material to the spirit of the material. We'd be bringing it up. We'd be changing the vibration of the material from a baser, but purer metal, now that we've been through, the other phases. There's also plant alchemy called spagyrics, in which the materials are broken down, then purified, then the salts removed, then added back in. So there's a bunch of work that goes in there, and a whole bunch of symbolism that goes along with that. If you've ever tried to look at alchemical emblems, they're hidden in metaphor, right? A lot of stuff is wrapped up so that only people who know, only initiates would necessarily understand them. Of course, you can buy books today on, I've got a number on my shelf of alchemical symbolism and get a better understanding of that. And there are courses on alchemical symbolism and that sort of thing. So in this phase, we are bringing in light, the light of the sun, Helios, the Greek god of the sun, or other god, Ra, the Egyptian god of the sun, recognized as the source of life, as a symbol of source, where we come from. So it's important to separate like the star that we orbit around, right? Even though that is that is representative of the thing we're doing, from the spiritual aspect. Now, again, I'm talking about separating things out, even though they're the same. I'm just talking about a mental construct so that we can start to understand them a little bit more. So in this phase, it's all about elevation. It's about elevation with solar, towards solar energy, towards enlightenment, right? There's that word light coming in. It is a bright yellow light associated with the solar plexus. Solar, there's that word again. Energy points. And so there you have it. That is a brief introduction to the Citrinitas phase of spiritual alchemy.